Hi, this is Rob Furnett with a video on how to run the local AI RAG agent I created for my final project in CSCI E-89 Deep Learning at Harvard Extension School in the fall 2025 semester. Before we get started, I want to mention that I'm running this app on my Mac Studio with an Apple M1 Max chip, 10-core CPU, 32-core GPU, and 64 gig of RAM. So depending on the specs on your machine, your mileage may vary. I also already have Python installed, as well as the UV package manager, FFmpeg for text-to-speech translation, as well as SQLite. And of course I have Ollama to run the Llama 3.2 and nomic-embed-text models. Now to get started, after you've installed Ollama, launch a terminal and run the Ollama list command. This will start Ollama, as you can see in the upper right of my screen, as well as list any models you may have pulled. Of course, if this is your first time running Ollama on your machine, you'll get an empty list like this. So go ahead and run Ollama pull llama 3.2:3b to download the 3 billion parameter version of Llama 3.2. And then run Ollama pull nomic-embed-text. And if you run an Ollama list again, you should now see the two models pulled. Okay, with Ollama up and running and the models we need pulled down to our local machine, let's go ahead and clone the repo and then jump into the IDE and look at the code. Okay, the first thing you want to do is make a copy of the sample env.txt file. And save it as .env in the root of your project folder. Then, before we run the initialization script, let's take a look inside the insured.db folder, and we'll see a script for creating and seeding the insured's database, which uses data in the insured data folder, which contains CSV files for risk profiles, claims history, coverage details, insureds, and policies. And in the vector store folder, we see a script for creating the ChromaDB vector store, which gets its data from the PDF files in the knowledge base folder. So now jump back into a terminal and run the source command, passing it the path to the init shell script. Now, if we look at our directory structure again, we see we have a virtual environment, the insured database, and a ChromaDB vector store. The code for the application is in the agent folder. And when the application is running, logs will be written to the logs folder in the agent folder. So let's go back to the terminal, copy this command to run the app, and execute it. Now, with the application being served from the Gradio interface running on port 7861 on my local machine, I see that an app log file has been created, and if I launch a browser and hit the URL, I see the app loaded. So let's go ahead and run a simple test by asking the agent, what is AI Agent Ensure? We'll submit the query. And we get our response in both text and audio.
AI Agent Insure is a next-generation insurance provider dedicated to safeguarding companies developing and deploying agentic AI systems, autonomous robotics, advanced RAG pipelines, and AI-native workflows.
Now let's try an audio prompt. What products does this company offer? What products does this company offer? And we get our response.
This company offers a comprehensive portfolio of insurance products tailored to the unique technical risks of modern autonomous and agentic AI environments, including 1. Agentic AI liability.
Now let's run a quick test to hit the database. We'll ask the agent how many insureds are in the database, and we get our response. Now I'm going to jump back into the terminal and terminate the app. Now jumping back in the IDE, I'll close the app log, the agent folder, and open agent eval, which has a test.py, which will use the previously instantiated InsuredsDB and Chroma Vector Store to go against the agent app and run a series of tests declared in the test data JSON file to evaluate the agent's retrieval capability. So let's jump back in the terminal and ensure you still have Ollama running and run the test.py file in the agent eval folder. And after the agent eval app completes, we see we ran 10 tests with a success rate of 90%. Now, after the eval app executes in the results folder, you'll find JSON files with the results of execution. There are 2 showing here because I've included one in the GitHub repo as input to the analysis notebook. So I'll go ahead and clear the contents of the notebook, jump back in the terminal, and launch the notebook. Now I'll go ahead and run the imports, load the test results. We see our 2 JSON files. I'll run an next cell, which will auto-select the most recent file, load it, and then show summary statistics of the execution, where again we see 9 out of 10 tests passed. And we see the test that failed came from the RAG processing. Now I'll run the next cell, and we see the overall success rate plot, and then details on the RAG and SQL tests. And then finally, a list of tests that failed. So that concludes this demonstration on how to run the local AI RAG agent. I hope you found it useful.